Assalamualaikum girls. Today I'm going to start the topic. As you know, we have started the topic of malaria earlier in the previous lecture, where I was talking about mhm, history of malaria, how physicians were familiar with malaria more than 2,000 years ago, and what it what this disease is like. It's a disease of chills and fever with the recurring attacks. And previously it was thought that this disease is caused by stagnant water, but it's not. It wasn't confirmed. Later on, I told you about quina as a cure of malaria, and that cure was replaced by cinchona later on. And I told you about the work of Leveron, how he observed tiny organisms in the blood of malarial patients. Then I discussed malaria as a biological problem, and I told you to divide it into different headings and subheadings. We were talking about problem number 1 and problem number 2. See? So in the previous lecture, I told you about problem number 1. What is the cause of malaria? I'm just going to briefly revise this, and then we will move on to problem number 2. I deliberately not discussed both these problems together in one class so that you might not get confused. So the problem number 1 is, what is the cause of malaria? Which is now solved, but at that time it was a problem, and the scientist made a statement out of observations that Plasmodium is the cause of malaria. And later on, they created reductions and did experiment on 100 malarial patients and 100 healthy persons. And it was found out that yes, Plasmodium is the cause of malaria. And we only talked about incubation period, because 7 healthy individuals also suffered from malaria, or they were about to suffer from malaria, because Plasmodium was in incubation period. Let's move on to problem number 2. Today I only want to discuss this problem, that how Plasmodium gets into the blood of man. It was a question, it was a problem at that time, not now. Scientists thought about that how Plasmodium is entering into the blood of human being. They had many questions in it. So when they had this problem in their mind, they started collecting observations, the previous observations and the new observations. The previous observations were as that malaria is associated with marshes, as I told you earlier, and drinking water of marshes does not cause malaria, because there were many people, volunteers, who drank water from marshes and they did not suffer from malaria. So these observations were previous observations that malaria is associated with marshes, but drinking water of marshes confirmed that it does not cause malaria. So we have concluded that marshes have no relationship as such with malaria. But in 1883, a physician, A.F.A. King, listed 20 observations. A.F.A. King's observations are very famous in the history, that he collected 20 different observations regarding the case of malaria. And out of those 20 observations, we are discussing only the important ones or few of them. We are not discussing all 20 observations. So, some of the observations were as follow. He said that people who slept outdoor were more likely to get malaria than people who slept indoor. It means people who sleep inside the house or inside the premises of a house or a hut are less likely to get malaria, they will get they will not get malaria as the people who are sleeping outside on the roof or on the in the veranda or anywhere outside, not inside the house. And second observation was that people who slept under fine nets were less likely to get malaria than those who did not use such nets. अब ये बात हो रही है कि the people who are sleeping under the net will not endure malaria as compared to the people who are sleeping. I don't know what I have said. I repeat. K, rather than making mistake, I repeat that people who are using fine nets are less likely to malaria than people who are sleeping without net. Now, this observation is also relating to mosquitoes. Somehow, the people who are using nets are prevented from the bite of small insects and any kind of bite, so they are less likely to get malaria as compared to the people who are sleeping openly. Third observation is that individuals who slept near a smoky fire usually didn't get malaria. Now, this is also related to, is pointing towards some insects and especially the mosquito. And mosquito do not come near smoky fire. So people who are sleeping near the smoky fire are less likely to get malaria than people who are not sleeping near the fire. So these observations lead the scientists to make a statement, and they made a statement which we call it as hypothesis. And the hypothesis they made was mosquito transport plasmodium and so are involved in the spread of malaria. And out of these observations, scientists concluded the statement mosquitoes are involved in the spread of malaria. But it wasn't confirmed yet. Up till this point, it was just a statement, possible a possible solution to the problem. See, that's what I told you. What is a hypothesis? A possible solution to the problem. And what was the problem? What was the problem? How plasmodium gets into the blood of man. So the possible solution was mosquitoes are involved in it, but it is not confirmed yet. So the scientists moved on to collect deductions, to make deductions. To make deductions, they consider this hypothesis as true for a moment, because you have to consider your hypothesis true to make some deduction. So the deduction they made was plasmodium should be present in mosquitoes. They said plasmodium should be present in mosquitoes, and then there was another deduction. A mosquito can get plasmodium by biting a malarial patient. I mean, when they were thinking about that mosquito is involved in spread of malaria, they logically decided that then we feel mosquito should have plasmodium. Mosquito के अंदर plasmodium होना चाहिए. Then they also thought about how the mosquito is getting plasmodium, how it is multiplying in the body of mosquito. Then they logically thought about it and come to the conclusion that a mosquito can get plasmodium by biting a malarial patient. Again, this was also not confirmed. They were just logically thinking that mosquito is, and that plasmodium is entering into the body of mosquito by biting a malarial patient. It was just a logic, okay? They haven't experimentally confirmed it yet. So later on, these experiments were not done by A.F.A. King. It was another scientist, Ronald Ross, a British Army physician working in India in 1880s. So that British Army physician performed experiments in India, and I must tell you that these experimentations, I'm dividing them into 3 parts just to make it easy for you. I mean, one of the part was experimentation part was that Ronald Ross did experiment directly on human, and I'll tell you where he stopped. Then he redesigned his experiment and used sparrows instead. Then later on, Italian biologists performed experiments directly on humans. Acha. Before starting the experiment, I must tell you why Ronald Ross did experiment on human first. Because it was a problem of human. But when it come to a certain point, he was unable to do direct experimentation on human because it was a fatal disease. As it was a fatal disease, he had to redesign his experiment and he used sparrows. Why sparrows? Why not monkey? Why not guinea pig? Why not some other animal? Actually, one of the reason is that people ask it in exams, okay, why Ronald Ross choose sparrows? One of the reason is that Ronald Ross could not do direct experimentation on human because it was a fatal disease. So for fatal disease, we cannot do experimentation directly on human. As in these days of coronavirus, we cannot directly experiment on human because it's fatal disease. Slowly and gradually they will move on to human. But यहाँ पर Ronald Ross redesigned his experiment and thought to do it on sparrow. Now the second reason is why sparrow. So the second reason of why sparrow is that sparrow also suffers from malaria. Why not guinea pig? Why not monkey? Because sparrow is also suffering from malaria and the malarial symptom of sparrow are exactly like human. जैसे ह्यूमन को मलेरिया होता है तो ह्यूमन फील्स फीवर एंड चिल, मतलब ठंड लगती है एक्सट्रीम की और उसको बुखार होता है, इसी तरह स्पैरो को भी सख्त ठंड लगती है और बुखार होता है. So that's why Ronald Ross chose sparrows instead of human. I repeat, number one, he could not do experiment on human because it was a fatal disease. Number two, sparrow also suffer from malaria and the malarial symptoms resembles with human. ठीक है, तो इस तरह से स्पैरोस पे काम हुआ था जो कि मैं बताऊंगी अभी. Then later on जब दवाइयाँ बन गई and human were able to control malaria, then at that time Italian biologists performed experiments directly on humans. जब बीमारी कंट्रोल में आ गई, जब सिंचोना और क्विना started became prevalent in human, then it was the time to do direct experimentation on human. Okay, let's start one by one as I have broken this experiment into 3 paragraphs. Acha, first paragraph is relevant to first point. The second paragraph is relevant to second point. ठीक है, please divide this it क्योंकि बच्चे mix कर देते हैं. And on the next page, number 26, it is the third point of Italian biologists doing direct experimentation on human. Acha, before starting, I must tell you one thing. In human, it is Anopheles mosquito causing malaria. There are so many mosquitoes. Not all of them are causing malaria in human. It's only Anopheles mosquito which is causing malaria to human. And then which mosquito is causing malaria to sparrows? So for when he redesigned experiment, he used Culex mosquito to bite sparrows because Culex mosquito is the one female Culex mosquito which is causing malaria to sparrow. Okay? It was female mosquito. Later on, I will tell you why female mosquito. So let's start the experiment. In order to test all these deductions that Plasmodium must be present in mosquitoes and mosquitoes are getting the Plasmodium by biting a malarial patient, he started experiment and he allowed a female Anopheles mosquito to bite a malarial patient first, okay? He let them bite a malarial patient. So later on, he killed those mosquitoes after some days and examined it under the microscope, and he found that Plasmodium is multiplying in the stomach wall of those mosquitoes. He saw it. But कुछ तो mosquitoes रहते थे पीछे, उसने सारे mosquitoes तो मार नहीं दिए थे. So the next logical step was to allow those mosquitoes to bite a healthy person. So he was about to allow those infected mosquitoes to bite a healthy person, but it was a fatal disease of that time. I told you earlier, those healthy person could also suffer from malaria. So scientists thought to redesign his experiment. So instead of using human being, he chose sparrow. And I told you why he chose sparrow. So Ross used sparrows now. And now in this case, Culex mosquito is causing malaria to sparrows. So he allowed the Culex mosquito to bite a sparrow suffering from malaria. And then he closely observed those mosquitoes, and he killed some of the mosquitoes and found that Plasmodium is multiplying in the stomach wall of those mosquitoes. And after some days, he killed some other mosquitoes. मुख्तलिफ टाइम पे किल कर रहा था ना, like after 4 days he killed a few mosquitoes, after 2 weeks, after 3 weeks he killed another mosquitoes. Later on, when he killed some other mosquitoes, he found that Plasmodium, which was multiplying in the wall of stomach, now it is moved into the mosquito's salivary glands. यानी कि मैंने डायग्राम नहीं रखी, काश के मैं डायग्राम रखती. मॉस्किटो के स्टमक में जब जो प्लाज्मोडियम मल्टीप्लाई कर रहा था, इट मूव्ड इनटू द स्लाइवरी ग्लैंड ऑफ मॉस्किटो. मॉस्किटो के ऊपर जो टिप होती है, जो कि बहुत फाइन होती है, उसके करीब स्लाइवरी ग्लैंड्स होते हैं. आई विल शेयर यू द पिक्चर ऑफ मॉस्किटो, जहाँ पर स्लाइवरी ग्लैंड्स उसकी बिल्कुल पतली सी माउथ पार्ट के पास होते हैं. So later on, when Ross found out that Plasmodium is multiplying into the salivary glands of mosquito, okay, he still kept some of the mosquitoes alive, and now he allowed those mosquitoes, those infected mosquitoes, to bite healthy sparrow. Okay. After a few days, इससे पहले Ross has found out that Plasmodium is multiplying, is present into the saliva of mosquito and into the salivary gland. So when he allowed them to bite a healthy person, few days later, the Plasmodium was found in the blood of those healthy sparrows, which are now infected with that Plasmodia. Later on, those sparrows also suffered from malaria. So it was confirmed at that time that mosquitoes are involved in the spread of malaria, but the experiment was not done on humans directly. It was only done on sparrows, and sparrows में mosquitoes were involved. So in the end, the hypothesis was tested by direct experimentation on human beings. In 1898, Italian biologists allowed an Anopheles mosquito to bite a malarial patient. Now they are working directly on humans by allowing Anopheles mosquito to bite a malarial patient. So later on, they found that Plasmodium is multiplying into the stomach wall of those Anopheles mosquitoes, and slowly and gradually that Plasmodia is moving into the saliva or salivary glands of those mosquitoes. Then they allowed those mosquitoes to bite healthy man. Later on, that person also became ill with malaria. And this at that time confirmed that mosquitoes are involved in the spread of malaria. Mosquitoes are the one which transmit Plasmodium and are involved in the spread of malaria. So this is how the experiment, this problem was solved, that how Plasmodium gets into the blood of man. Now you can easily understand that how scientists collect observations after a problem, after jotting down that what is the problem we are facing. Then they collect observations, make a statement of possible solution. Then they take out logical conclusions, logical things from those statements. Then they do experiment and experimentally verify that whether their hypothesis is correct or wrong. After that experiment verification, they move on to make results and report those results into journals or things like that, right? Now, on page number 25, there is a interesting information that female mosquitoes are involved in the biting process. So the question arises, why female mosquitoes are involved in spread of malaria? It is not male mosquitoes, only female mosquitoes are biting people. So the answer is on page number 25, blue box, interesting information. Female mosquitoes need the blood of mammals or birds for the maturation of their eggs. The female are the one which lay eggs and make further mosquitoes. The female mosquitoes need blood, human blood, or mammal's blood, or the blood of birds, not the blood of other animals. Because mammals' blood and the bird's blood contains lots of nutrients which are required by these mosquitoes to quickly germinate those eggs. क्योंकि eggs को grow करने के लिए nutrients चाहिए होते हैं, तो mosquito वो nutrients provide नहीं कर पाता, तो mosquito feeds on mammal's blood and bird's blood to get that nutrients. So इसीलिए सिर्फ फीमेल मॉस्किटो बाइट कर रही है, मेल मॉस्किटो बाइट नहीं करता to get blood. Rather, male mosquito do not feed on blood. They feed on nectar of fruits and flowers to collect water. I mean, you have seen or you will see some mosquitoes who are sitting even on the fruit. And before reading this, I was like, why they are sitting on the fruit? Fruits ko bhi nahi chhodte. Basically, the male mosquito is collecting nectar from those fruits and flowers, and they also drink water. So they do not bite humans, or they do not bite mammals and birds. Rather, it's just the female mosquito. Let's move on to another interesting information on page number 26. The blue boxes below the diagram of figure 2.1. These two boxes. One of the box is telling us about why the female mosquito injects saliva while biting a person. Why it injects saliva? I will tell you the answer. And the another question is, another box is dealing with the question, why do welts appear after a mosquito bite? So first, let me tell you why a mosquito injects saliva actually before biting a person. Basically, human blood or mammal's blood have the tendency to clot outside their body. आपको पता है, the blood when comes out of our body, it starts to thicken and it stops bleeding. Clotting की tendency है. What is clotting? Clumps बनने शुरू हो जाते हैं. फोन के क्या कहना चाहिए, फिटकड़ी सी clumps बनते हैं after outside the body of animals and mammals and birds. तो mosquito की जो mouth part है, it's very microscopic. You can see a mosquito कि उसकी जो bite करता है वो कितना पतला होता है, like very fine, even finer than a needle. तो उसमें जाकर blood जब clot कर जाए तो mosquito का mouth part तो बंद हो जाएगा and mosquito will be unable to eat further, feed further and will die. तो ये तो हर mosquito ही मर जाए इस तरह से. So mosquito has a preventive measure that when it bites a mammal or a bird, it injects a small amount of saliva into the body of that mammal or bird to prevent clotting. कैसे? Mosquito के saliva में एंटी क्लॉटिंग फैक्टर होते हैं या कोएगुलेटिंग फैक्टर होते हैं. कोएगुलेशन मीन्स क्लम्प्स बनना, क्लॉट मीन्स क्लम्प्स बनना, फिटकड़ी सी बनना, लम्प्स से बनना. तो in the saliva of a mosquito there are certain chemicals which prevent clotting or coagulation और clumps बनने नहीं देते. Then after a while mosquito sucks the blood. So this is why mosquito injects saliva before biting a person, before sucking its blood. Now another question is, why do welts appear after a mosquito bite? Now welt किसे कह रहे हैं? WELT. वो जो मॉस्किटो की बाइट के बाद हमारी स्किन थोड़ी स्वेलन हो जाती है, जहां जहां मॉस्किटो बाइट करता है वो swollen एरिया होता है. I don't know what you call it in Urdu, but I know what we call it in Punjabi. पंजाबी में तरफड़ कहते हैं, बट उर्दू में मुझे नहीं मालूम कि उसको क्या बोलते हैं. इंग्लिश में उसको वेल्ट बोलते हैं, वो जो swollen skin हो जाती है. Now that why those welts appear after a mosquito bite? Basically, I told you that mosquito is injecting its saliva in our body, and saliva is not part of human. ठीक है? Human, there are certain chemicals in that saliva that humans are allergic to it. Because of that, as soon as the mosquito injects the saliva, the allergic reaction starts and a welt is appeared. Okay? Because of that, I repeat, because of that allergic reaction, we get those swellings and swells. In most cases, this itching sensation and swelling subsides or stops within several hours. यानी 4-5 घंटों के अंदर अंदर, या कुछ ज़्यादा वर्ष हो तो 6-7 घंटों के अंदर those wells disappear and that allergic reaction subsides. ऐसे ही है ना girls? You can also study this figure 2.1 where they are showing us Aedes mosquito. It is Aedes mosquito which transmits dengue fever. डेंगी के फीवर में के स्प्रेड में जो मॉस्किटो है उसका नाम है एडीज मॉस्किटो, और ये थोड़ा बड़े साइज का होता है, इसकी टांगें बड़ी बड़ी होती हैं, और it has white spots on its body. It is different from Anopheles mosquito and Culex mosquito because it is big in size and it has white spots. It is involved in the spread of dengue fever. So I am stopping my lecture here because I want to tell you only to focus on problem number 2, to kindly understand every step of Ronald Ross experiment. Obviously, you have to go through the observations, deductions, and everything, but the Ronald Ross experiment is not tricky to me, but I have seen students mix it with the problem number 1. Student mix this experiment with the experiment of problem number 1, or they miss some steps of Ronald Ross experiments. They directly move to redesigning or just mentioning the step number 1 or skipping the step number 3 and 2. So this is how the experiments become incomplete. You have to learn every step. You have to understand every step of this experiment. And girls, you can ask me questions regarding today's lecture. Okay. So from now, Allah Hafiz from my side.